invisible screen today, doing some demonstrations, and I want to do a better demonstration on our PC, invisible PC screen. First things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is ILEG Technology Screens. Let me get my fan off my desk and move it a little farther up so you can hear me crystal clear. Now, I warned you a long time ago about a fellow we had contact with us first by the name of Jamie Fernando Gonzalez. He did have a website under Crows Screen Paint Mixes and Cinematic Mixes LLC, but that site is no longer there because he got rid of the site. Why? Because there's a number of reasons why it was wrong with the site. There was so much scamming on that site, it was not even funny. Guy's very unprofessional. He was doxing people's addresses on his own website. He was stealing Google images to try to make his product look like something that it wasn't. We matched this up literally to my cat's blanket, $4.35 blanket. We've made the product. We have it right here. We literally made it and sent it back to him, which we got something called the refusals, which I got to be outside today for that. So basically, his paint is nothing more than just different levels of black and white paint. As you can see, he has two containers here. They look exactly the same. That's because they're exactly the same paint. So let me explain to you about the refusal. So the refusal is basically his own product. There's a YouTube video that shows you how to make the Metallica mix, which is 2 tablespoons of black paint into white paint. There's no silver in it any way whatsoever, so I don't know how he calls it Metallica. We made the tutorial video. Let me get this fan off the table. There. Forgetting about that. We made the tutorial video and we shipped him back we shipped back his paint to him. Where's that at? I got all that information here and here. All right, here we go. We shipped the paint to him. Now, in the box was basically 2 types of mixes. There was one that had 2 tablespoons of black paint, which was the original, and there was one that had 2 tablespoons of mica added to, which was actually the real paint on how he should have sold it. Shipped to his address, in which he refused the product and sent it back to us. Now, mind, this isn't something we made off the top of our head. This is actually made using his own tutorial video. If he sits there on camera and ever says, well, hey, look, somebody else denied the order. No, this had a special label attached to it called restrictions. And restriction labels means if we're doing business with a company and it's addressed to one person, is the only person can have access to that package, like flash drives or anything like that, we send them under restriction, which means the only person that can touch it is the person it's sent to. It literally has a name on who it belongs to. The carrier can only send it to that person only. If the carrier fails to do so, they can be in a lot of trouble for this. You can lose your job over this. I know postal workers, we have some of them here in the building, and they will tell you at the end, when those restriction labels come through, you can't touch them, they can't give them to you. I don't care what kind of ID you show, you can't go near that package, only they can do it. They're the only ones can deny a package and take a package. So with that being said, we sent them a restriction label. See right there, restriction label. It cost $31.40, a little bit more pricey, and it was sent to his business address, which is right here. Now the thing about Jamie is Jamie's still trying to sell paint, even though his website's not there, even though he got on YouTube and told this big lie as usual, moving on to bigger and better things. Now he'll come out and say, well, the reason why he's doing this is because he feels that no, Jamie, again, you're not on the same level. I'm doing a demonstration on an invisible screen at 300 lumens and a commercial environment. I got to be outside today with this screen today to play around with it. We are not on the same level. You hide in the dark, I play out in the light. We're 2 different people at the end of the day. My technology is far more advanced than yours. We know that already. So stop trying to say we're in the same boat. If you were the same as me, I would never have this package sitting on my desk. This package would have been on a YouTube live video. You would have done the demonstrations that we requested. You should have done anyway. You'd have taken this free mix and put it against your own product. Now, we deliberately left chat open. Why is chat open? Because this video is going to go to other forum sites. And the reason why it's going to the forum sites is because I want people not only to see the kind of people who hang around this guy, but also, too, we want them to see his attitude itself. That's why we leave chats open. Chats are done open because maybe there's cameras behind the back of us that we're recording, self-record, cameras are left behind the back of us because the audience in the courtroom, they need to see exactly what kind of energy this person puts out. So when you're in court, one thing they want to do is try to paint a picture that you're a good citizen, but you're not a good citizen if you have a lot of negativity behind you. So anyway, yeah, with this, it's going to be posted everywhere because it's to show people the kind of people that are in this circle. So yes, this package right here. Now, if he sits there and screams and yells, hey, his address is docs, again, his address is under a delinquent LLC. Another story right there. Committed perjury on his own LLC. Lied on documents. It was clearly 5 months his company was around. We know that's a lie. Yeah, that's a problem on its own. So he's missing certain sensitive documents. So you're dealing with you're sending your credit card information over to a scammer. And if he sits there and says, oh, that's not true, well, we got something called the blacklist. All his information, everything is on the blacklist. It shows his products matching house paints. There's a network grade 773 fiasco where he matched house paint, removed the videos, brought it back on. There's the bare silver screen. There's a few customers who have his product that are very disappointed because the screen completely washed out. It wasn't even there. He lies in his demonstrations by using overpowered, high-powered caliper projectors, dark environments to try to manipulate his contrast levels and try to rip off his customers to let them know that, hey, they're getting something you're not. And Mr. Fernando, we have proof that you are selling this product and you don't have a business license to sell in the state of California. So now you're being reported to the Attorney General's office in the state of California for selling products without a proper business license. Good luck with that nightmare. Anyway, you have to have a license. Somebody sat there and argued and said, oh, no. They changed the rules. You have to have, that's why we have them. You have to have a business license. Even if you sell on eBay, you have to have those things. Because now they're getting to the point where they're saying, well, online is getting away with too much. They want to make it like online. It's like more like offline. So you're going to have all that paperwork. So those of you who have eBay accounts, go get that business license. It's free. Go pick one up. No, sorry. It's not free. Sorry, that's right. I paid $35 for mine up here in Pennsylvania. But anyway, so this is a product that he refused. It's his own stuff. It's his own paint. This is his own product. This is how he made it. Crows Metallica Mix 2.0. This is the upgrade version of it. This has 3 tablespoons of black paint, which is a little bit darker. It's much better. It has 1 quart of white paint, and it has 1 tablespoon of dark silver Metallica Mix powder. This is the more advanced version. This is the one he was just scared of, afraid of. He didn't want to go near that one at all, period. And then we have this one over here, which the label is kind of stained up a little bit because we used it multiple times. It's actually right there. This one right here is basically the same thing. It's just 2 tablespoons of black paint into 1 quart. It's basically the original one that was made. So these right here are his mixes right there. And here's the scary part about it. When we did the test over here, when we bought his stuff over from eBay, all his products match that free mix. I did the personal mix versus the Metallica mix, and it matched. I had a customer ship in the Metallica mix straight from the horse's mouth, and it also matched. It also matched Bullseye Primer. It matched Bare Silver Screen. It matched Network Gray 773. We even got that stuff that matched shoe polish. Gray freaking shoe polish. Even worse, people, recently, we got it to match Taco's cat blanket. Perfect match. Taco's cat blanket. A cat blanket. So literally, you paid $60 for something that we can match with a cat blanket. Even worse, you see that paint right there? It cost me $15 to make that stuff. So I went and got some hobby paint, washable kids hobby paint for $11. And I paid some other hobby paint for $1.50. The mica was $2, and that was shipped to his front door. And what did he do? He refused it. We had it sent back. Now, all he had to do in the demonstration was take the product, which we asked him to do, and put it against the screen paints that he claims that were supposed to be different. That's all he's supposed to do. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it live. And the reason why he couldn't do it live, because again, he ripped his customers off. He ripped them off. Now, there are people that supported Crow's activities. They actually went in and continued to make sure that these products would sell, knowing that these products were scam. Just to let you know, we went to Federal Trade Commission. We also went to FBI. on this. I actually had to fill out a form with the FBI, and your names were posted with YouTube channels, email accounts, and IP addresses were posted in. I told you we got your info. Were posted in. So now there has to be an investigation done because a lot of people got ripped off. They're going through his PayPal account. They're going to go through all different kinds of however way he got paid. They have to go through all of that because you guys were part of a scam ring, of a screen paint, projection screen paint scam ring. How much of this paint went out? How much of this stuff is actually tested? Does it actually work? Is this stuff matching house paint? Was he honest when he was talking to his customers about the product? No, he wasn't in any way whatsoever. So individuals that were involved in this nonsense, just because we haven't mentioned your name doesn't mean we don't know who you are. You have been added into this list. There's a list of people that were involved in this product, this whole scam that was going on with his products, and now you're going to be under investigation. Good luck with that nightmare at the end of the day. So if you just happen to be sitting there watching TV or out there on your lawn and some black vehicles start driving up on your property or basically coming out to go have a little conversation with you, you know what they're for. Because come on, you knew better than that. You knew better than that. You knew this guy was ripping people off. This is house paint. Basic house paint. And the part that gets me is the fact that he still continues to try to sell this nonsense, knowing darn well he's matched on camera multiple times, and yet he still tries to peddle this nonsense from place to place. Well, Jamie hopes that he finds somebody who doesn't know. And the sad thing about it is there's a lot of people who got caught up in this mess, including in a church, and they got ripped off. That stuff doesn't work at all, period. We did the demonstration with the cat's blanket. I told you before, it doesn't work. It's going outside today. So we're going to take it outside today, put it against one of these screens that generate the sunlight. Because he talks a lot of trash. Oh, yeah, we had to take you outside because you made a statement that your product was equal to ad tech. I remember that. I definitely remember that. He posted it on his page, and he had ad tech technology. Well, guess what? You're going outside today. What to do? Let's play. You're going outside. You claimed your screen paint ad tech because I remember that. I remember he took the name ad tech. He added it to all his different paints. Well, guess what? You have sunlight capabilities, right? Let's take you outside today. You're going to go play outside today. And that's going to be roughly in a couple hours. We go outside between 8 and 9. So Jamie's product is going outside versus the ad tech technology we have here. And let's see if you can read. I don't even know how that would work, buddy, because projectors, our technology, our projectors sit behind the back of these things, and they have to push through the screen. You don't have front and rear technology, so we're just going to turn around and stick the camera in the front and see what you pick up. All right, people, get ready for that. That's about to happen. And you'll be in direct sunlight, by the way, because those things can feed through direct sunlight. So let's see how your screen picks up at 50 lumens outside in direct sunlight. We got a sunny day today, too, on top of that. So I'm charging all my equipment up because we're going to be outside today playing. See the difference between me and you, Jamie? You hide in the dark, lying to your customers, ripping them off and stealing, and we go outside and play. Which can't wait. Can't wait to get out there right now. Wish it was sunny right now. We can get out there and play. Anyway, I got to go pick up some stuff. I'm going to be doing some more demonstrations on our rear, front and rear invisible screens. These are we're going to be working on pretty soon a new formula to design a new type of front projection or rear projection PC monitor, which I'm doing right now. See how you can say anything crystal clear, Jamie? This is how it's done. This is how you do work at the end of the day. You don't rip people off in the process at the end of the day. You're a thief. You're definitely a thief. And how the freak are you selling painting? You don't even have a proper website. He doesn't even have a website. So how are you ripping people off? He's probably doing, he's probably going through PayPal, and he's probably doing invoices. So I'll have them note that you're probably doing invoice transactions, because that's what you're doing. Because you're not supposed to be selling anyway. You have a delinquent LLC. You can't sell jack right now. You don't even have a business license right now. So we'll go to the state attorney's general office, and we'll port your address. Where's your address? It's right directly on top of that apartment. Gotta have a license to sell, people. You need a license to sell. I have a license. There's my license right there. I have a license in the state of Allentown. Nah! There you go. See? I get my paperwork done. I'm a paperwork jock junkie. That's what I am. I fill all that crazy stuff out. I like that. I know all my stuff at the end of the day. I know business. So my doing was done a long time ago. I've been had mine. You're supposed to have that. So anyone goes to your site and they find you're selling your product, you can get in trouble now because you have to have a license to sell within your state. But But anyway, that's why I gave you this information. For new merchants and stuff, get your license, get it locked in, be done. Make sure all your stuff is tested, batch number test, all your stuff to protect yourself and give a guarantee also to your customers. This stuff has no guarantee whatsoever. Look at them. They both look exactly the same. Who the heck was dumb enough to buy this stuff and it looks exactly the same? It's the same thing. Look at this. Same thing. You literally bought the same thing. Same thing. You bought freaking house paint. And the sad thing about it is the Cinemax, the Hybrid Mix, all the other mixes you make, they're all the same thing. Because if you watch the demonstration we did on the network grade 773, we had 3 mixes up there laying against that network grade, and they all blended in together. Let's go over here. I know you're writing in stuff. Guess what? We don't read that stuff. We never do. I don't waste my time. So I don't know why you bother writing stuff in. I never read it. That stuff is posted to other sites. They read it. That's for them to read, not for us. We don't bother with that. We got that there because we need you to come in and say dumb stuff, which you usually do, which is easy, so we can have other people read it. But I don't read that stuff. It's wasting my time. Why in the world would I engage in reading some dumb nonsense when you can't even explain this dumb hot mess at the end of the day? If you can't explain why you refused the package, why you sent it back to us, if you can't back your products up in any way whatsoever, I can't even have a sensible conversation with this guy. Mind you, we could post his chats. I'm going to post his chats. We're going to post his chat, majority of his chats that we had with him on his website to show people how unprofessional this guy is. So Jamie, prepare. We got close to about 300 of your chats on file. It's a lot of them. Of you screaming, yelling, cursing, doxing, death threats, all kinds of stuff. We're going to paint a picture of you. At the end of the day, you are not the type of person to ever send a credit card or debit card to ever. I even have it recorded and documented where you dox addresses and live streams on your site. So they'll be posted today also too. So people can see, never ever do business with you. You're a ripoff artist. You're a professional ripoff artist. You got a nerve to be up there trying to sell that gray mix. That mess. This is called the blacklist, people. So the blacklist on our Crystal, it's not Crystal site anymore. It's our ILEG, and this is -info page because this gets information about all the stuff we work on, do and build and stuff like that. This is called the blacklist. The blacklist is one of the most visited pages we have, due to the fact that it started off by basically working with knockoff projectors and slowly trickled into this guy at the end of the day, which we found so many scams on him, it was unfreaking believable. I mean, he's got post office mail fraud. It's all types of stuff. Look at this black and white paint mixture. And how horrible this is about the black and white paint challenge. It was literally, he made this stuff for free at one point and then decided to start selling it, but then tried to say that the product he was selling was different from the one he was giving away for free. Sad thing about it, they're both the same. The other mixes he make, they're all the same. So Cinemax is the same as Metallica. Metallica is the same as Personal. They're all the same mix. The only difference is the shade difference. That's it. But the shade difference doesn't mean jack. It has to be a dramatic difference between night and day. Right here, you're seeing right here. See right here? This is where you're seeing his demonstration, network grade 773 fiasco. This is where we did it live. He's wearing the red Thrasher hoodie. Product matched perfectly. Kept telling they had a yellowish tone. No, there was no yellowish tone there. Over there, we did it over there 6 months ago. At one point, his customers, we had put so much pressure on this guy about doing this demonstration because I was down in the basement thinking, what are the odds of someone just sliding an everyday gray paint off a shelf, put a little Christmas glitter into it, and then sell it back to their customers? What are the odds of that happening? And I'm wondering if this guy's stuff would match house paint, like really, really house paint. Now, mind you, back in the day when people were making screen paints, you didn't have a lot of great paints out there. You just had the bare 1050, whatever, and some black paint. You had to figure it out for yourself. Nowadays, there's just so many different versions of gray tones. It's insane. So how close can some of this stuff match is actually paints? So we got the work. And we found out this stuff matched network grade 773. Now in the video, if you watch it, I hear me say in the camera, I'm not 100% sure this is going to maybe match perfectly, but I'm curious, it may match some. But the minute I popped the top, the first thing I said was, oh, this is not good, because I can tell by tones, because I was making gray paint before a lot of you ever existed on YouTube. Yeah, I was. Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. Hello! By the way, my Digital One Crystal Screen Paint have massive beta testers, customers, and also had a global contract where these guys today can't even reach the level I was 10 years ago. Ah, there you go. Check it out. Anyway, so yeah, we did the demonstration. So it matched on our end. Now, later on, he did it. And why he did it? Because he didn't do it right away. His customers were doing it. They got sick and tired of hearing me talk about it. So they started doing it. And then they started sending him angry emails because we were right. It was matching. And that's why he came on and said, I'm doing this because my customers pressured me. The fact that you have to put pressure in there shows at the end of the day that your customers were doing the demonstrations, and customers should never have to pressure you on something that they purchased. That's like you got to pressure a car company to get test results on their brakes. Like, why would you have to even go through all that nightmare nonsense? Did you do the test? That kind of sounds like they didn't do the test. If you have to go to fight and get a lawyer to get an actual access to test that they should have done a long time ago. There you go. I'm scared to drive the vehicle. Anyway, so right here, as you can see, bottom line is we had the screen perfectly matched. This is our demonstration here, and this is me painting in the screen with the basic Network Grade 773, and then move it ahead. This is the match, which means we got the screen to match. There's 3 of his screen paints in the center of that. We got the Metallica mix, Personal mix, and we have the Cinemax. And then the big surface behind you is the actual screen paint of the Network Grade 773. All of it matched in one hit. The black screen behind that's picking up better, that's our technology. Now, Jamie can fight this all you want. Jamie's company's going to court. We're suing him. We have set with several different agencies about this big scam ring he's been doing. So he's going to have to do this in court. And keep in mind, the beautiful thing about this product right here, why this makes it such a blessing right here, because if you decide to bring your own mix in, which we know you will tamper with it to try to throw off what we have here, we have your original right here. So there's nothing you can do. You can't even tamper with it. You can't do anything with it. Now, keep in mind that the tracking number was issued everywhere. Everybody got the tracking number. So if he sits there and says, hey, I never refused it, he's lying. No, we posted the tracking number everywhere. Everyone saw the refusal pop up. It's your own paint. It's your own product. I made it from your own video at the end of the day. And all we ever, one was actually the original one. The second one was basically done like the one that how your paint should have been made with Metallica in it. Because how you going to sell Metallica paint and there's no Metallica in it? Like, again, it's like selling chocolate chip cookies and there's no chocolate chips in it. Then that doesn't make it a chocolate chip cookie. Kind of makes it a sugar cookie, to tell you the truth, honestly. So, again, where's the silver at in this stuff? So there you go. He was committing scams from the door when he was selling it as a Metallica mix. When he was giving away for free, it was still off. He didn't know what he was doing. Couldn't give away a free screen paint and make it correctly at all, period. These are videos right here. I'm going to post a blacklist link to this page right here. These are videos right here. We've actually made this product using the same tutorial, same black and white paint. We made the UV mix. The UV mix is called reversal. Now, back in the day, they were called reversals. It was much easier to make the dump in a whole lot of black paint and the white paint. You would lose count and you put too much in it. You could overstep. So the best way to do it is to basically, instead of having the base being white and put black for toner, you do it the opposite. You make the base black and do white for toner. So 6 of those exactly make the UV mix. When we got the Frankenstein over here, mind you, the Frankenstein used to be light gray. If you look at the videos we have posted, the ones that are missing off his account that we now have, it's light gray. He changed it at the last minute, made it darker because he was trying to compete with a gunmetal technology we were working on. And this is the same container that said not ambient light rejection, but you're trying to compete with a gunmetal technology that is ambient light rejection. You tell me how that one works. I don't know. Make it make sense. So that's that nightmare altogether. That bundle of nightmare right there. The product that he made, which we showed you the real video, we posted the whole video to you. He says it is ambient light rejection, but it's lighter. But the darker version, which should be ambient light rejection, is not ambient light rejection. Yeah, you figure that one out. Make it make sense. This is the stuff he does. So what Jamie does is Jamie flip-flops. Whoever he's selling the product to is what he changes the product to be. That's what he does. For us, he changed it darker because he knew we would go against a darker screen, and the Great Frankenstein wouldn't survive against a darker product. He knows that from the door. So he changed to darker. And this is where we had the post office mail fraud charge that was filed against him because he wanted to change the shopping cart at the last minute. When we ordered a lighter version, he made it darker. And you also lost, what did you lose in that one too, Fernando? You lost a PayPal claim on top of that. Yeah, then we posted the PayPal claim. He lost it. He lost another couple. He lost a few PayPal claims. Jamie, you want to back your products up? We have over 20 different versions of money back to our banking accounts. You sent money back to my banking accounts, right? Not only did you send money back to the banking account, but you cried on every single receipt after, and this is posted on multiple form sites, showing that you sent us a detailed email telling us to buy whatever we want. This is why we show you flip-flop. Buy whatever you want. And then what happened? You sent us a link. Tell us to buy whatever we wanted, right? So I bought what I wanted, right? And what did you do? You returned every cent back to my banking account. And you cried on every receipt. You said harassment. You said, I can't sell it to you. All kinds of dumb. You don't know what you're doing, man. Very unprofessional. So those are posters warning people that you don't know what you're doing. You don't trust your own products. That you're a rip-off artist. And more recently, we had the refusal. Come on, man. Can't get mad at me about this stuff. It's your own stuff at the end of the day. You're mad at me. You're angry and bitter at me because you refuse your own product. There you go. Right from the horse's mouth. That's the tracking number right there. That's his address right there. It shows you the time when it hit. And it shows you right there the package was refused. It's sent back. This is what we have sitting on the table right now. You couldn't back up your own product. Look, I'm not going to go on this because I got a lot to do today, and your screen is going outside against AdTech because you did make that statement that your product was the same as AdTech. We're going to take you out in the sun and watch your screen disappear. But, as I said before, you know, the most recent of all your scams that we have, things that you're doing, this right here, refusing your own product. The same product, as I said before, that we sent to you. You want me to send you another package? Because I can send you another package up. You keep talking nonsense, I'll send you up some stuff at the end of the day that'll make you cry in front of that postal worker. We'll send up Apple Barrel. We'll send, oh, I forgot we got to order the Apple Barrel. Apple Barrel we need to have here because he cheated on that test, so we have to do that test again. We'll send all that stuff. I'll make your Cinemax. I'll make all your products, stick it in a container, and I'll send it up to you, and I guarantee we get the package back. I'll send you one every week. I'll find paints, and I'll send you one every week, and I guarantee you'll send every single package back here. And if you, and at the end of the day, I got a question for you. Where the freak is my black paint? Because didn't we not send you a certified letter requesting black paint to be tested against our product? Where's my stuff at? You couldn't even send that either. Didn't I give you permission to make my black paint? What happened? You failed in 2 different attempts. Couldn't even make that either. Sad at the end of the day. But I can make your stuff. I can make your stuff any day of the week. I can upgrade this stuff on so many different levels. It's not even funny. This is nothing more than house paint. That's all it is. Nothing at all. You don't have any form of protection on this, don't you? Matter of fact, even your shipping policy is a scam. And I have that posted too. Shipping policy clearly stated on his website that his product is, if it lands on the property, you're stuck with it. If you open it up, you're stuck with it. So where's the exchange for the customer? They can't exchange if they open it. They're going to have to open it. There's no testing. There's no batch underneath this stuff. How do you know this stuff is going to work? There you go. Rip-off artist. Professional rip-off artist. That's what he is. All right. There's his paints right there. Basically, all his products are the same thing. They're all the same thing. Black and white paint. So pretty much his stuff is basically any form of white paint. We literally use hobby, washable paint for kids to make his stuff. That's what he refused. Did you know that, Jamie? That's what you refused? We didn't make it the same way you have in your whatchamacallit. We just use everyday paint. That's all we use. And it matched your stuff. So we sent to your address $15 worth of paint that we made using washable paint for kids and using Family Dollar black paint. It cost me $1.25. That's what was sent to your address. And you didn't even bother with it. You just refused it right from the door and sent it back. So that shows at the end of the day, not only are we right when we made the statement that all your products match the same way, except for you being Frankenstein because they're darker, but they both match themselves. We're able to make that stuff with gray bullseye primer. I'm like, what the freak? Gray bullseye primer, yes. So I would choose your stuff that's a major scam, but also too, you have admitted it yourself. By refusing the package, you have openly admitted it yourself on YouTube in the world that your product is a scam. Because all you had to do was sign for the package, take it in, and do the demonstration live so we can all see it. Everybody knows what's in it, so you can't tamper with it and mess with it. Everybody has a tracking number, so you can't see you didn't receive it. So yeah, you was painted into a corner he couldn't get out of. So you admitted it yourself, and here you are on camera trying to sell this mess. Listen to this. Oh, it just turned up here. Sheen's got to be up today. We got PC maintenance today. Oh, come on, man. That is not the way to go. He's ran right into me. Coordination is way off.
As for the website for selling mixes, yeah, I'm just kidding.
Your coordination is really off. Let's go in the same direction he's going.
Mixes and stuff like that. But thank you so far. It's been good. Thank you for taking advantage of $50.
See right here. Okay. Let's see. This menu, literally the sound of it literally sounds like on old video games. Audio. Let's see, audio. Should have volume in here. Audio. See what that on there. Where's my volume on this thing? I like these projectors. These projectors have, unlike the other projectors, they don't allow you to do so much in them. These little guys, at the end of the day, these things are fantastic. That's what I like about the Cumies. Audio input. I need volume. Give me volume. Yeah, it should be right there. And that one. Should be volume right there. Alright, then you should have it here. So there we go. Let's see. Volume is all the way up. Alright, let's throw some speakers on this because it needs to be a little louder. Yeah, that's one thing I explained too much about Cumies. Usually most portable projectors don't have the options that a real projector has inside of them, so you'll run into a lot of problems with those. And the Cumies are different. They have all this, the bells and whistles you definitely need, like the keystone, which is extremely important to have in the smaller projectors. They have positioning, which means you can do it like front projection, back projection. Another big problem I find in the smaller projectors, they don't have that front projection. So if I got the projector sitting behind it, it'll mirror mode automatically, and you have to be able to do like front projection or whatever it is. Yeah, front projection or rear projection. It doesn't have rear projection capabilities. So you have to be able to have that in there in order to use these little mini projectors when it comes to these screens, and the Cumies do it. Thank God that the Cumies are cheaper now, because Cumies were very expensive. I paid like $700 for one of these things, but now they're like $40. They've been around for a very long time. I had Cumies like 10 years ago, so that tells you how old they are.
Alright guys, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your support. Hey guys, what is up? This is Crows1176.
Alright, so right now I'm getting some mixes done, and people are asking me if when will be the last time for the website to be selling the mixes. It will be January 1st. The website, I'm going to change it to 3D printing. I'm going to probably start doing that hopefully in December. Hopefully in December. But
Number one, you can't change your website over to 3D printing, and I'll tell you why. Number one, you know the license required for 3D printing? I know I got a friend who has a professional business in 3D printing. And the paperwork requirement, the 3D print, is insane because it's a chemical. It's way different than what you're dealing with a water base. You're dealing with an actual toxic chemical. So you have to have somewhere to dispose of those containers, especially if you're doing it on a business level. It's bad enough if you even do it on a basic hobby level, you still have to have somewhere to be able to dispose of those toxic containers. Now, one of the things I had to go through in my business license, because I sell screen paints, I literally had to go to a recycling, I think, department for that stuff, because they had to know exactly what it is I was making. They had to know what kind of containers units were using to throw away these containers. All that stuff had to be done. So I had to send them a safety material data sheet showing that the chemical that we're working with is water-based. It also helps, again, this is a blessing and a curse for the lung disease, to show them that, hey, I got several top doctors that said I can't even be around these chemicals in the day because they will kill me. So bottom line is that helped out too, big time. But anyway, other than that, you have to. And the reason why this is done, for people at the end of the day, they want to say, oh, that's bullcrap. This is why you don't live in the real world with the rest of us. If you're working for the trash department and you're unloading toxic chemicals that are inside of a container, this can hurt people at the end of the day. It can hurt the workers that are basically disposing this mess. It can hurt anybody at the end of the day. That stuff's sitting there for long periods of time. You can have problems with sunlight. Anything could cause an explosion, fire, whatever. It could be a problem at the end of the day. You got people who dig in trash all the time, you know what I mean, dumpster divers, stuff like that. You can make somebody sick and kill somebody. And that's the reason why. That proper way this stuff has to be disposed. That's one of the biggest issues they had with companies that were taking medical waste and they were dumping this stuff into the ocean, because there's a faster way to get rid of it, and also too, it was cheaper, but also too, it was killing the ecosystem of the ocean. You get the laugh emojis, they come up from Jamie and the rest of them. They're not very smart, so you know that's how they react. So just to let you know ahead of time, those who be watching this is why we get laugh emojis from them, because they're not very intelligent people. But you know, that's their fault at the day. Anyway, so that's why they have these restrictions in place. Because if you had anybody dumping any form of hazardous waste that they wanted to in any kind of containers, think of a nightmare that would be for you and your kids or your future kids at the end of the day, if they're basically just dumping out anything they want anyway, and any way they want to dump it out. So that's why you have to go there, and you have to get under your license. You have to show that, number one, that the facility that you're in basically has to be industrial. You can't have any other facility in there. That's why when people buy properties and they turn those warehouses into apartment complexes, you need to do a background check to see what that building was before you move in there, because it could have been a place they work with hazardous materials, anything in there, and that stuff would still be in there. Even if they strip that building down to the bare bone, it still could be in there. So again, you wonder why you have problems breathing. That could be it right there. See, that's why you have to research buildings. And keep in mind, and zoning, which I learned thanks to you guys at the end of the day, have had zoning come to see me, I learned a lot out of zoning. Those buildings have to be zoned for residential and not for basically business or industrial. Industrial and business are two different areas, two entities. So you guys don't know that. They don't know this stuff at the end of the day. So it's going over their heads right now. They don't know. Anyway, gentlemen, I don't have time to get out the sock puppets for you. I don't, or the bouncing ball. We don't have time to do that. Just try to wing it the best way you can, much like you did in school. All right, so anyway, as I said before, so you can't be making these chemicals and just doing whatever you want to do. No, they have rules and restrictions under the printing machines. Well, number one, they have to invest your business. You know why? To make sure you're not making ghost guns. Because people had a habit of making these plastic guns and selling them online. So that's one of the things that will pop up. They'll have to go through your facility. They'll have to check it out. They'll have to do a walkthrough. The zoning's going to have to go through it. License inspection's going to have to go through it. And then basically you're going to, once you get approval from them, then you're going to have to go down and get your licenses and all that stuff. You'll be approved for all that. So nobody, you can't do that. You can't do that at an apartment. You crazy? You're going to operate a 3D printing press in that area right there in your apartment? No, buddy. You have license inspection all over you at the end of the day. That's a chemical at the end of the day. And your place is small at the end of the day. Keep in mind, you got almost a full family in there with a bunch of pets. And you're going to be trying to operate a business in there That's not going to happen. And you can't go anyplace else and operate a business. You need heavy paperwork to do that stuff. You can't be just walking into an office and saying, I'm going to operate. You can't operate printing presses in here. It won't work. They don't do that in here. So that's not going to happen. And in order to get a warehouse, man, you're going to have ID, you're going to have to show social security cards, all that stuff. They need all that information, your business license, all that stuff. You definitely have to show a business license. Any building you go into requires building license, a business license. And you don't even have a license at all, period. So that's definitely not going to happen. What are we playing in the background? We got snow going on back here somewhere. Because I'm hearing snow. Yeah, there we go. Some kind of video. But anyway, you can't do that. That's not going to happen. That's definitely not going to happen. Your website has nothing on it anyway. Your domain name went up for sale. We already know that this domain name went for sale. Somebody didn't buy it, but it's up for sale because he didn't pay on the domain name. And you're going to try to convert that website over to 3D after you went out and doxed a whole bunch of people's addresses and you ran the scam that you're running now. Like, someone's going to trust you in that field to begin with. What are you going to do? You're going to rip off other people's stuff at the end of the day? Because you don't make up your own stuff at the end of the day. You're going to rip off Dragon Ball Z, Bandai. You're going to rip off freaking any one of those companies, Marvel. Man, you do it at the end of the day, man. You're gonna have so many freaking black wagons on your on that property. It's gonna look insane. You can't be doing that. What are you gonna be selling? Because you're a rip-off artist. You have a habit of stealing people's copyrights. As a matter of fact, you're going to court pretty soon for our copyrights. You went and ripped off Frankenstein. You made money off a company's name, didn't pay them a dime at all, and got paid off their own name. Didn't pay them any royalties out or nothing. So you're not the type of person I would trust in business in any way whatsoever. And then you got this scam nonsense at the end of the day. Oh, I can see the shipping return on that one, but if it lands on your property, you're stuck with it. If you open it up, you're stuck with it. I can see the scam behind that nonsense, buddy. Here's the deal: you can't do that. You can't open up a printing business in your place. The fact that you made that mention. That's all we need at the end of the day to basically take that down and get that taken care of today. You can't do that. Sorry, but you can't. Sorry to burst your bubble, but you can't do that. Because you got other people living around you in your environment and you want to operate a chemical factory in your apartment. What if somebody's kid gets cancer over that? You didn't think about that? See, that's what I said, Jamie. That's the problem with you. You don't think about anybody else but yourself. That's it. It's all about you. That's what it's about. You operate those kind of toxic chemicals. It's bad enough. In one of the videos, we must have counted maybe 30 aerosol cans. You know how combustible an aerosol can is? You got pets in there. When you walk away on vacation or whatever you do at the end of the day, do you leave the air conditioner on? Because you know if an area is too cold, that can cause a can to actually burst. If the area is too hot, you can call it the burst. It has to be something called room temperature control in order to have that, which means that's a climate control environment, and you don't have that in there. You have air conditioning. That's not climate control. That's air conditioning. Either it's too cold or it's not cold enough. That's not climate control. So the fact that you have aerosol cans, about 30 of them that we counted in the video, and like that, that's a fire hazard right there, including how compressed and how compact that apartment is. Look at this. There's stuff all over the place in there. It's like walking into a, what do you call it? A freaking flea market. That's what it looks like in there. It's packed. There's stuff that's packed away in every corner. And you're going to operate a printing machine in there? Are you mad? Have you lost your mind? And then that stuff gives off a chemical. It gives off an odor. It gives off a scent. It's plastic. You're burning plastic. You're melting plastic. So that gives up. Then you got all these bottles of chemicals in there. You have to have. Oh yeah, that's not going to go well, buddy. We got to contact some people. I got to make some phone calls because you're going to kill somebody. You are literally going to kill somebody. You got a bunch of people living in that unit. If I even knew, if I lived in that place, you were doing that, I'd have had you arrested on the spot. That's like having a meth lab in there. That's almost equal to a meth lab. You got all those chemicals in there, including 3D printing equipment in there too on top of that, and you're printing in that little square space at the end of the day around all those people around you. You're putting yourself at danger, you're putting your family members at danger, putting the pets at danger, putting people around you at danger, and you got it. Oh man, that place is going to blow up. He's going to literally blow up half that building. I got to make a phone call. I'm telling you, buddy, I'm not going to have that blood on my hands at the end of the day. Look, man, you may think at the end of the day that I'm doing this to you for the simple fact that it's, That has nothing to do with it, Jamie. It really doesn't. It doesn't at all, period. It's the fact that I think about other people, man. If I didn't, I think about other people. The fact that if I let that go at the end of the day, and something does happen, and half that building does go up, that's my fault at the end of the day too, because I knew about it and I could have handled that situation. I have to have zoning go through this building. They have to go through it, because that's crazy. At the end. That's absolutely madness at the end of the day. God, he's trying to do a printing business in there. Yeah, he's gonna kill somebody. He's already printing stuff in there as it is. So God knows how many chemicals he has in there right now laying around in that spot. Yeah. If you say you have a storage unit, you don't have a storage unit. I have a storage unit. I showed it off on camera. I got a storage unit. I got a big one. I got a 10 by 30 perfect car in that sucker. But anyway, you don't have a storage unit because a storage unit requires documentation. You're going to have to show a license to get it. You have to show a state ID in order to get a storage unit. You have to have all that information in there. You can't get that. That's why his apartment's so packed. You see how packed it is? And I was thinking at the end of the day, and sorry, buddy, go off topic here, not to be rude here on this one, but does your wife document it? Because the reason why I asked that question, and you can take it anyway, because you get angry, you get mad, and get ticked off, but they're going to ask that question regardless when they come through. Question we have here is that she could have got a storage unit, because she was here. She easily got a storage unit and put the stuff in there. But your apartment, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but if you look at that place, there is stuff packed in every corner, in every inch of the corner. Everything is boxes stacked in corners. There's a rack of clothing in one corner over there. It's just congested in there through the roof. And I told you before, when the process server came there, and again, now the process server come to his apartment because he did violate our copyrights. We had to have somebody come in from the courts. The process server said the scent that was coming out of the place was actually unbearable. And the reason why it was unbearable, because it's got multiple pets in there. That's even wrong for the pets to be in there like that. Multiple pets. And for you to sit there and say, well, no, buddy, I have a place. Man, I've been showing my houses off from day one. I showed off my room when I rented it. I showed off all my places, even my apartment at the end of the day. So I got proof that I go out and rent other places. You don't. You stay in the same spot. You've been in the same spot for how long? You've been in the same spot since I've been in that room. And I've been in that room for quite some time. The reason why we don't show off my new location, because the mess we had to go through to the stalking nonsense. Why in the world would I take you to court for stalking and then show you my address where I live at? That's the dumbest thing ever. The judge would look at me like I'm a complete idiot. So let me get this straight. So these guys were stalking you. You moved and got a new place, and you showed them where you lived at. There you go. That's how dumb you guys are at the end of the day. Like, why don't you show your new address? That's why, because you were stalking us, you creepy guys. On top of that, we had a guy sitting there sending us, Mr. Derek Williams, was sending us love letters and talking about raping me to the point of his blood coming out of my stool. And I'm going to show you where my address is at. That's why I carry. Is it why? Yes, why I carry firearms. That's why. Now, good thing I switched over to rubber bullets because I had impact and I had incendiary rounds. You know what incendiary round does if it hits you? Or impact rounds are designed to do? Yeah, I was carrying them. Hollow points. I usually used to carry those. That's my choice. Impact, hollow point. Well, actually, impact more for shotgun. I like those better for shotgun rounds. Impact rounds. And Dragon's Breath. You ever heard of those? I have those rounds. But they're just for show. We go out Texas. I got some family out there. The military. I get a chance to show up some stuff around them, which they already have already because of the military. You know, I already got that already. I'm pretty sure you have it already. I'm pretty sure. First time I fired off a freaking good gracious. That's a powerful gun. A 50 cal. That sniper rifle. That thing's bigger than me. I don't freak you walk around with that thing. I think people stand up and fire that thing off. And I lay down the ground. It just, man, you feel your whole body just ripple. It's unbelievable how much power that thing has. It literally is it's a cannon. It's like walking around with an actual cannon. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, they have a fire range up there. But I carry rubber bullets now. I carry rubber bullets and I carry pepper rounds. You know why? Same thing they do, like they break down riots and stuff. That's what I carry. It's much safer. Person survives the shot at the end of the day, because I thought at the end of the day, if I kept to shoot somebody, at least at the end of the day, they got the option to go to heaven. I'm not responsible for taking someone's life, so you know that's why I got the rubber bullets. And I switched out all my stuff to rubber bullets. But since I've been up here, I've never had to carry anything. Nice to know there's tons of cops up here. Like literally tons of cops. I'm up in the cops every single day up here. Hello, I don't. Hey, I don't. Cops, FBI, Sheriff's Department. It's all up here. There's a whole bunch of them up here. Anyway, Because I first came here, I was like, God gracious, like, how much crime do you people have up here? There's a lot of freaking agencies up here. Yeah, a lot. I told you about, you see all those cops racing down the street like that? It was an incident, an argument. An argument. They don't play around up here, man. They lock it down up here. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get back to this paint mess at the end of the day. So your product is crap, Jamie. It's crap. It's been crap. It's always been crap. You don't do anything with it. I mean, you could have done better with this. I believe you would have done better with this. You could have. But he didn't. Jamie chose to rip people off, and that's what he did. Other than this hot mess, man, yeah. And the printing, no, you're not doing that. There's no way in the world you're printing anything out of that apartment. Not going to happen. I'm going to have to call zoning and your section and have them go through your unit, because I know darn well you are not operating a 3D printing machine in there. No. You can operate too, so we can do it in the apartment. Yes, the smaller versions. You've seen the smaller version, the tabletop versions. That is not a tabletop version he's operating in there. That's a full printer in there he has in there. It's not tabletop. You got the small little tabletops you sit on top of your table. You can have those because they disperse less. But he has a full size one in there. So that means a fire hazard. I'm curious what the outlets are in there. How many amps are those outlets? Because usually the older apartments have 2 outlets on them. The new ones have, depends. Some of them have 3s, but most apartments in that particular area where that one's in, I know people live in those apartments. I had to contact somebody and say, yo, what's your outlets? Majority, most of the apartments have 2 prongs. If they have 2 prongs, it means they don't have a grounder. Grounder is 3. That's what that third plug is for. It's the grounding. That's what it's for. Well, most of them have 2 in theirs. And then the newer ones have the breakers. Now, what they do now is they put the 2s in, and then they put the breakers in the bathroom, and they put the breakers in the kitchen. That's what they have them in there. There's supposed to be heavy-duty amp right near with the refrigerator, heavy appliances like refrigerators, ranges, ovens, stuff like that, a washer and dryer. They're supposed to have more heavier amps. But, yeah. I'm curious how the electrical system is run through that place. That's what I'm curious to see. I'm gonna get we can get that right. Let me see if I can get a blueprint of that property. Because I'm curious to see what that wattage is trying to do there. Yeah, want that zoning go to your unit, buddy. That's a scary statement you just made. You can't be. I've seen the printing machine you have in there. But you can't operate that as a business in there. You can't do that. And you can't operate that any place else, because any unit you go into, it doesn't make a difference. They have to ask, what the freak are you selling while you go in that unit? They have to see your paperwork. They're going to ask for your license. They're going to ask for your EIN number, your DBA. They're going to request all that. They need to have all that. They need to see bank documents, all that stuff to show how long you've been in business, They need to see all that stuff on the door before anybody rents anything to you. Because you could be running anything in there. You could be running a place where you're basically ripping off cars. You got a chop shop running in there. You could be running, like I said, a meth lab. You can be running anything in there. That's the reason why I have to ask you. And you have to be able to show proof that you do have this and it does work. I had several people up here to look at this stuff to make sure I was selling exactly what I was selling. Because you guys try to send people messages that were scamming people. You know how dumb you are at the end of the day? You know your IP addresses were traced already. I get all that information. You're stupid at the end of the day. You can't be that dumb. You're going to tell people that my stuff is a scam and they're here looking at it. That's how dumb you are. And they look at you as what? They look at you as haters. That's how they see you guys. So, I got haters at the end of the day because my haters know my technology is good. Look at you. You're crying in chat. You're going to be crying today. I'm going to have you crying today. I'm going to have you crying on something new today. I got something new I'm working on today, too. We got so much stuff we're working on, it's not even funny. I got something new for you haters to cry on. Boo-hoo. Hey, go back to this paint. You got your own paint at the end of the day, don't you? What paint you got at the end of the day? You got this fake stuff. Yeah. Consider the fact that for you haters out there who supported this nonsense, who said this product worked, my cat's blanket can do the same thing as your screen can do it. And I paid $4.35 for it. I made your product using his own tutorial video. You paid how much for that stuff? And I used freaking hobby paint to make this stuff. And he refused it and sent it back to us. You know what makes this gold at the end of the day? Pure, sheer gold. It's the fact that the person who made it himself sent it back because he could not even back it up. he couldn't back up his own product at the end of the day. And you paid how much for something he couldn't back up? That is super, super sad. And the only way you can reply back is a bunch of laugh emojis. That's sad. You got any way to explain this mess? Well, look, today you're going to be out in the sun. Mr. Sun, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please come out and play. You're going outside today because you made a statement. I remember him making that statement that his product was equal to AdTech. So you're going outside. Let's see if you work next to AdTech. 500 lumens. That's all no, sorry. We're using 50 lumens today. That's what we're using. Jeez, man. Nah, you're not selling this paint no more, man. This paint's done. You're not selling more this paint. It's done. This stuff is house paint. Anybody can make it. The church could have made that paint. He ripped off a church, mind you. Sitting in the dark in this church. Had a nerve to ask that guy, hey, are all the lights on? You can't see the fire exits, Jamie. You didn't look at the fire exits. See how dark they were? When have you ever been in any place in the fire exits have literally been that dark? Fire exits are that dark. In any environment you go in, that is clearly a fire hazard right there. How the heck would you be able to see if the place catches on fire? God forbid, it's a church, it catches on fire. How are you able to see the fire exits if it's that dark? Number one, you'll have a panic display that's going to trigger off. That's definitely going to happen. And you can't find your way out. That's like watching a bunch of rats getting trapped on a ship and it's sinking. You have to have, there's no way in the world that place would be operating if the area, those fire exits weren't showing at the end of the day. So the fact that you sat there and made that statement, is the area fully lit? You said that said it on camera, hoping he would say yes. And probably sat there looking behind the pew, looking at him like, did he just say what I thought he just said? Is it fully lit? You're supposed to be an expert in the field and you don't know when an area is fully lit? That would scare me right there from the door. What do you mean? No. He said, now the lights are on. We're not even fully lit in here yet. So you're not even fully lit and you're in there talking about calibrating the projectors that are all the way up there. First things first, how are you getting up there? Even if they do, most likely a projector that sits that high up, they have some kind of form of PC link. Because I've seen some of the ones you can actually operate down low. That's how they operate the settings and all that stuff. They're not remote control. Sometimes doesn't feed up there, so they have a link where you can link from the IP address from the projector down to your PC, and that's how you're able to manipulate the machines that high up. I know, Jamie, because I know venue projectors. I've had quite a lot of them, so I know a lot about these machines, more than you do. You need to even explain what type of machines they were, the caliber of machine, nothing at all whatsoever, because you didn't know what they were. You just figured that your stuff was going to work because the projector was high powered enough. But with a projector that caliber, they're probably like 7,000, 8,000, they're probably way up there. And they're hitting those white screens, especially if it's on a white screen. If it's on a white screen, expect the projector to have a very heavy lumen count because it's on a white screen. That's why. That's why. But anyway, the lumen count had to be up there. And in the distance where these projectors were sitting at and the caliber, the size of the screen, yeah, they were big boy machines. And he's talking about calibrating those. Man, they had those machines calibrate. The first guy who came in there and sold him that whole setup to begin with did the calibration. And keep in mind, you're in the dark. He's in the dark telling him it'll look better once we calibrate it. That's why he didn't say anything. You see him walk over and say, hey, this is a fantastic job and I really like the work and so on. He didn't say anything. He was pacing back and forth trying to see like, man, we got ripped off. Now, if you go back and look at that video later on, not his, their video, you'll see the color of the screen has changed dramatically. It's a darker gray screen because they upgraded. They got rid of his because his didn't work. What time we got? Let me see. Black background, beta fish.
Peter Piper's pepper picking proved painful, so he ordered the supplies he needed from Amazon Business.
Oh, they got the Run DMC. Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah, right. I'm the only one that got a technology reason direct sunlight, please. Yeah, you freaking fakes at the end of the day. Enjoy your freaking great pasty paints. Meanwhile, we'll be outside doing stuff like this, and you'll be inside hiding in the dark. When should I start putting your names on my demonstrations and putting you on blast? You want that kind of attention at the end of the day? I don't think you do. Because when you put your name on blast, other people are going to expect you to do the same thing we do. You don't do any of my matching better challenge. You don't do none of my stuff at all whatsoever. Can you do this? No, you don't understand the first thing about invisible technology. If you did, we had invisible technology. You know how long? This is why I got to school people come on here and talk trash. Go, oh, but you just... No, buddy, I've had this 10 years ago. Under digital and crystal screen paint, we had an invisible technology. 10 years ago. On the exact same projector I'm using right now. In your face. You guys who support him, your customers, at the end of the day, where are you guys right now with them? What's the difference between your customers and my customers? My customers are outside. In the very same light that you're blocking in your windows and doors because your screen's washing out. There you go. Speaks volumes. See the church in my promo demonstration? You see the size of that screen? That screen is massive. You see all the lights that are sitting around that screen? You see the before and after? That's the difference about what we do and what you guys have at the end of the day. You can't back your products up. And again, if you're all about that trash talk at the end of the day, sign the contract. Let's go in court. Simple as that. Why talk it? Sign it. Let's go. You believe in that product 100%? You saying it pulls 100% contrast, it pulls up in fully lit environments, it does the same thing our product does? Sign the contract. Let's go to court. That's all you got to do. Stop all the talking, blah, blah, blah. Sign it. That's it. How long have I been asking about this? For quite some time, right? All right, then. You don't want to sign it, right? You know why? Because I'm telling the truth. That's why. That's why he sent that product back here, because he knew he could not go on a live stream and do that test, because he knew that that product was going to match the rest of those products he had up there. He knew this 100%. That's why he sent it back to us. And what makes it even worse, the worst of, I don't know which one's worse, the fact that it matched the cat blanket, the fact that we made it out of $15 worth of kids paint. It was kids paint we used, by the way. Or the fact that he got on camera and hyped this stuff up to be this super mega paint, and for it all to turn out to be nothing more than just a big scam that blew up in his face. And you guys went out and spent $60 to $90 for this mess, painted it up on your wall, and talked about how amazing it was. And the person himself who developed it couldn't even back it and sent it back to us. Of all people to send something back to, you sent it back to us. Because you're the ones you talk the most trash about us, but you sent it back to us. Boy, that's a huge piece of humble pie. You ever seen a 40-inch pizza before? I have. They're huge. That's what he had to eat that night. With no water. Can you imagine the most saltiest, most hot pepper, ghost pepper pizza. Tons of salt, made out of pure vinegar. Just the most nastiest, most tardiest thing you could think of at 40 inches, and you have to consume all of that. That's what he had to do that night when he sent that package back, because he knew it was going to happen. Each swallow was like trying to swallow a freaking baseball that's made out of concrete. Turn into the Incredible Hulk trying to swallow it down. You see the Tom and Jerry cartoons where they get something caught in their throat. You see the imprint in their throat of the item. They like looking like Bruce Lee when he jumped on somebody's back. Like, that's embarrassing. Embarrassing. And then think about it. The people who supported the nonsense, horrible. They got outed because he threw you under a bus. You guys, what makes you guys so sad at the end of the day is that you support this guy, and this guy didn't even back you up. He threw you clean under the bus. You're so far under the bus, you're looking at Band-Aids, what do you call it? Needles, all kinds of stuff. You way under the bus, man. You're looking at the freaking the underneath the belly carriage of the bus and all. You're underneath, all underneath of it. Got the oil coming up, oil on you on one side, and just, man, Band-Aid, use Band-Aid on the side of your face. You're just coming up like that, man. He threw you under the bus because you backed him 100%. You said his product was the best of the best product I ever had in my entire life. You know the accusations that were on that box? The accusations that were on that box, that proved that his product was matching. All his products matched. That was the accusation on the box. That his product was the same thing as the free paint that he was basically giving away for free, and he sold it to you. And by him taking that box and refusing it and sending it back to us, he just said, yeah, that's true. He just said, I ripped off all my customers. I got these idiots to believe my product was this, that, and the other, and they were suckers, and they bought my products, and I got them for their money. Because that's what he did to you. And yet you're angry at me at the end of the day. That's sad. That's why we're posting all this. So you shouldn't be mad at me. You should be mad at him because he ripped you off. But good. Show your hostility, because I'm going to show all this everywhere. Every site we go to is going to be posted everywhere. That's why I'm leaving it right here. This is gold for us. I also got a camera behind me documenting everything, because that camera is hooked up to something else and it goes somewhere else too also. So if you have to go in there and get mad and get upset and get bitter and scream and curse and do laugh emojis and all that stuff, that shows at the end of the day you're just upset because you got ripped off at the end of the day, and you supported a product that even the owner himself couldn't support. And you're just taking your frustration on me because you got ripped off. I should be taking out with them. I didn't take your money. He took it. Why don't you do like my customers do? Go outside with that. Oh, you can't. It doesn't even work inside. Okay, look, I'm done with this. I got things to do. I got to get ready. I got to be outside. I'm going to have this product outside in the sun versus ad tech. So stay tuned. This should be fun. Now, the other fellow said, well, he doesn't even exist anymore. He has no activity on none of the accounts. Website has no activity whatsoever. Looks like it did planet. Nothing's running on that at all, period. You could even back it up. Those who supported that Series C, how did that work out for you? Oh, nobody bought it. Okay. So I thought this was the paint that was supposed to dominate our stuff at the end of the day. So let me get this straight. The person who invented black technology, well, so many different versions of black technology, this one guy was going to come out after my 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever years of developing black technology and come out there and show that my product didn't work. When we got him to cancel out and put money back in our accounts at $700. I even got him to return a $20 sample. You know how much money you pay on PayPal on a $20 sample? He returned $20. He couldn't even give us a $20 sample. And then got him to cancel over 12 million people in the state of Pennsylvania, including an additional 9 other states. Does that sound like a product that would take ours? Failed attempt. Again. All right, this is what's going to happen. To you cracker jacks out here that got nothing better to do on your time, because I guess apparently you don't work. If you feel you can come against my company, bring it. I'll take you out in the sun, because that's what we play at now. Our ambient light projection tests are done outside. And we'll go outside and play. If I catch you on a YouTube video shutting curtains or whatever, you're screwed. On so many levels, it's not even funny. And mind, even inside, we operate at 24,000. 24,000, which means my office area generates more light than your entire house. So consider the fact that if we bring you in here, you're gone. We take you outside, you're gone. 2 things will happen to you. We'll get your hands on your product. We'll bring you in here, wash your screen out, and I'll take you outside and watch you disappear. Or, even worse, I'll put you against 15% over there, and it'll change the color of your screen. Well, we got to play around with that today. I haven't played with that screen in a while. You know, it's cool when you have so much technology, you got to think about the stuff. We got this gaming screen over here. We haven't played around for a while. I'm going to play with that. Okay. Got those over there. We just made that paint. The panels, I only got a chance to use it one time. Then we got the invisible ones over there. Then we got the new product we made over here, which we don't even know what to call that yet, which is called Superior Project. I don't even know what we're going to call that yet. I'm not sure. And we got the color screen paints and got around to that. We got the gamer, and then we got the gunmetal technology we're going to bring it out next. Are you guys going to catch up? When are you going to catch up? You're still complaining. What paints are you complaining about? Okay, I got to ask this question real quick. Which ones are you complaining about? We make so much of this stuff. Are you complaining about the floor technology, ceiling technology? What are you complaining about? Mapping technology? Are you complaining about? You don't know anything about mapping technology. That's why you don't talk about that. You notice that? They never talk about anything involving mapping technology that we do. You know why? Because they don't understand it. All right, moving on. So what else you got? Nothing else, okay? All right, it's basically about it. Enjoy your house paint that we can make now for $15. The real one. We can make the real one. You got the fake. So anyone has a metallic, and if you have the fake version on your wall, we actually have the real one. This is the real one. This is how it's supposed to be. It's got that mic in it. Man, bam. Anyway, and Taco's cat blanket over here. That can do the same thing as your screen. Here, let me show you. It's right here. This is my cat's blanket. It literally did the same thing as your screen print on your wall. This is his blanket. He plays with this. This is his play blanket right there. Look at it. See all the marks in it? This literally matched your screen. Now, I'm going to go pick up some Apple Barrel. Apple Barrel paint that's going to cost me 99 cents. I'm going to stick that against that product because he failed to do that test. And he was supposed to do that test, but he put black paint in it. So we're going to do the test for him. The microblend slip silver. I said I was gonna let this go, but no, we got some more testing to do. We do, because there's so much stuff he was supposed to do with this stuff. The microblend slip silver, he avoided to do that. He avoided a lot of tests. We're gonna get some gray shoe polish. Oh, I swear if that gray shoe polish match, this is gonna be really embarrassing. And you can't sit there and say it's not his product, because it is. It's his product. We sent it directly to his company right here. It's right there. You can go look up his LLC. It's right on this LLC. And this is what we purchased from him. And there's the tracking number, same as I showed you on the receipt right there. And this shows up on his LLC right there. And he said, oh, it's dog. This is the part that kills me about this guy, how backwards he is. He sits there and says that a customer got mad because he cheated him. And the customer, I guess he did the whole policy with him. You can't do anything about it. You're stuck with it. Anyway, customer posted his address. Because he must have heard us talking about where's his address at. Because he was doing all this dumb stuff. We had to file criminal charges against him. And he posted his address. When I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, that's his address? Because he was using 317 Kern Street. He was using a family member's address to commit crimes. Because it's on the court document. But anyway, I find the address and I go, wait a minute. So I do a YouTube video. We don't say it's his address. We just say, hey, this is what we found. The customer got upset with him, posted an address. And he went off. I'm going to sue you. You're doxing my address. Buddy, we didn't dox your address. We found your address and said, hey, we didn't put your name to it. We didn't put claim to it. It was yours in any way whatsoever. I said, we found this address, went from his customers, and that's it. It could have been anyone else's address. It could have been an address you previously lived at and don't live there anymore. It could have been one of them. But the fact that you are emotional and you wear your heart on your sleeve, you're easy to be able to get information out of you. And you went off, and I said, well, no one would go off like that if they lived there. You know what I mean? He actually lives there. So that's what we found out, where your address was at, because you told me. That's all I had to do. Now, this is the funny thing about it. You went out and you did this whole ramping and carrying on about how we doxed you and we're this and that and blah, 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 to turn around and take your address and stick it in the public domain that everybody on the face of the planet can find you. Everyone. And it's there. And you can't get rid of it because you can't dissolve the LLC. Why? Because of the perjury nonsense he committed on the document, which makes his LLC undissolvable. He can't dissolve it. He's got a document, and it's a serious document. And the more time that goes by, the more these people are going to get to a point that, hey, look, this guy's not popping up. We're going to have a court order for him to perform a panel. You're talking about what, state something, whatever, a California attorney? What's so crazy? That's a very serious business, very serious part of the government that you basically lied to. And then they're going to find out when they start digging around your PayPal account, other things around you, to do an internal investigation on you, that you've been around a lot longer than that. And then that's going to lead to other things that you don't want them to uncover. So I ain't the only nightmare you got to worry about right now. So yeah, there's all that, man. But you lied and all that. You lied on your own company's LLC. And then the attorney you signed off on it, he's going to sue you. Because you can mess him up. He can end up losing his license over this crap. Thank God he's not going to have to worry about that. He can say, look, man, I asked him, did he basically fill it out to the best of his ability, and told him about the penalties and stuff and so on. He told you all that. He has to tell you that. How in the world? How, man? At the end of the day, you got they got that nightmare to worry about, and then it's sitting on top of that apartment complex. It's on the apartment complex. So you went in and rant and carried on about how we doxed you, but you doxed your own self. Anyone can find you. Any agency, any law enforcement, anybody can find you. You're right there. Maybe that's why the process server found you. It's right on your property. Posted it right to your door. Apartment E. So you can't get mad about that. Don't go carrying on me on that, because I'll basically show people how to get to you. And it's not hard to do. It's right there. Anybody can find you. Your public domain. And then he did the same thing with that whole Cinemax mess. Sat there and said, oh, he made my product. He made my product. He put the label on it. And then turn around and match the paint. You're an idiot today, Jim. I have to say, Jim, you're an idiot. You are definitely an idiot. I have to be that. You're an idiot. You went through that whole rant fiasco telling me how we printed out the label, how we made the paint, how we did this, how we did that. Your paint would never do that. Remember making those statements and then sat there in that Network Grade 773 on camera, give out that intro and say at the end of the day that he doesn't know what he's talking about, my stuff would never match, blah, blah, blah. How did that work out for you? I see you didn't bring that video back and say it had a yellowish tone to it. You know why? Because that's the most embarrassing video he ever had his entire life. He never wants to see that video as long as he lives. That's him running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to cover up that monstrosity that popped up on his screen, where the screen blended into a basic house paint. So your customers literally could have slid that off a shelf and made it themselves with nothing in it. There was no black in it. There was nothing in it, and it matched your stuff. And have nerve to sit there through that whole entire strip and lie through the whole thing. Huh. Okay, well, with that being said, I'm done here. I wasted enough time on this. I got to take this paint outside because we got to do some demonstrations out in the sun, because he made mention that he did have ad tech capabilities. So let's see if you have ad tech capabilities. We'll take this paint right here, which is your Metallica mix, and we're going to take it out there in the sun. Now, if you sit there and say that, hey, this doesn't account for all my mixes, it does, Jamie. The paint we have here is all your mixes combined. It's all your mixes. You know why? Because we gave you the opportunity to paint these mixes against your mixes, all of them, to prove that we were wrong. That's why the package was sent there, to prove that I was wrong. And you told me I was right by sending it back to me. How else would you explain that? I'm accusing you of ripping your customers off, selling them nothing more than just house paint, and that all your mixes are exactly the same. The lighter mixes are exactly the same. Do I have to prove my point again with the Frankenstein and UV mix? I'll send those up next. And you'll be refusing another package, and you'll be crying again on camera again. And we'll be down like, here we go again. We got it down here again. All right, let's put this up and show you what it doesn't do. Blah, da, 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 da. Matches this, blah, da, 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 da. All right, that's basically about it. Your stuff don't work. I'm gonna go outside with your paint, and let's see if you do exactly what you said. Then I'll put you against our new mix. Oh, I say our mix. Oh, great goodness! Why did you say that's disgusting? Formula, man. It's formula. We don't make that crap at the end of the day. Ew, man, nasty. Hold on. Mix. That's disgusting. That's a disgusting word. Anyway, formula. We're gonna put your mix against our formula, and we're gonna take you outside. You should be the operate, right? You should be to see a star field, white levels. We can read a white level at 300 lumens outside on our screen paint product. You could be to do the same thing, right? I'm pretty sure you can pick up the white levels. You'll read your colors correctly, and you'll pick up a 100% black level at 300 lumens, right? All right, then. Should work perfectly fine. Should be no problems, right? Anybody else want to make a wager that that screen pulls a star field outside? $6,000. Anybody? Come on, you guys got all this stuff. Anybody? I'll post a video and say 6,000. No, let me make it 20,000. 20,000 wager that that screen paint down there doesn't read a contrast level outside. How many of you are willing to say it does? People, you know the type of person I am. I will literally design a contract, PDF, and stick it to my page and put that challenge there to walk in court. And we'll have a number there showing how many people actually signed the contract. Oh, you can't do it, can you? No, you can't do it. You can't. You can't do it. Let me explain something to you. This is going to be the most embarrassing moment when we take that thing outside and put it against an ad tech at 100,000 lux of direct sunlight. This is going to be extremely embarrassing. I would suggest you people who supported this body, this is what you do. Go to the store and stock up on lots of water and milk. You know why? Because that humble pie is going to be virtually impossible to try to swallow at the end of the day. You're going to need something to be to break it up. So many equivalents of going out in the backyard and getting yourself a nice round stone and trying to swallow that. Can you imagine that? You're going to choke on the way down. You know that, right? This is going to be bad. Embarrassing. We've done these before, by the way, just so you know. But it's going to be bad embarrassing. All right. So let's begin. All right. We're going to have some fun outside pretty soon. And soon later, the people supported these products. And we're going to put you up there. I'm going to literally put your name up there. Jamie's Paint, and put the credibility, everything for it, by supporters claiming that the product would read a 100% contrast level. Because that's what you're in here talking all this trash about. You're saying the product is good, right? So I'm going to give you credit already from the door. I'm going to put on the video that you claimed this already from the door. Now, if you sit there and said, I put words in your mouth, well, why are you putting all this talk at the bottom like you back it up 100%? All right, there you go. Now you got your credibility. Get your limelight. See, I told you. That's the reason why we set you up. You remember I told you about the whole set up and serve technique? We open up the chat. We know you guys are going to come and you're going to run your mouths. There you go. Gotcha. See you soon.